The ghost of the 2023 elections is far from being laid to rest. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has countered the European Union Election Observer Mission over its final reports on the elections. INEC said it is not fair to judge the entire performance of the Commission during the February 25th and March 18th election on the basis of a glitch in the uphold of the results for the presidential election. INEC National Commissioner and Chairman of Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, said the glitch in downloading the presidential election results is not a solid reason to judge the electoral body's performance during the polls. That was a major setback. Before the election, promises were made and everything, and Nigerians held on to that promise because the INEC chairman and Festus Okoye kept reiterating it that we are going to use this. And that was a basis of confidence. It built a lot of confidence that, after the results were going to be downloaded and we're going to watch real time. But at the same time, INEC is now telling us that, look, in our inability to download this does not in any way alter or alterate what we did that day.
Well, I think in the first place, the EU's observer mission, electoral mission, it's one of the observing institutions. There are also other observers. I've read glimpses from that report. I think if we are not careful, we may be carried away by self-serving media headlines that tend to give the wrong impression that the EU condemned the entire election. That is not the case. The EU highlighted some areas of strength. In fact, the EU admitted that there is significant improvement in the election itself, but highlighted about 6 areas. One was women, discrimination that we don't have enough women representation. Then spoke about exclusion.
And that's a general thing.
Yeah, it's a general thing.
Yes. The National Assembly, we saw the number nosedived. In the state houses of assembly across the country, the number reduced.
The EU spoke about appointment of INEC members, and then it also spoke about transmitting the results, real-time transmission of those results, and some other areas that INEC needs to improve. So for me, I think it's a kind of weigh the strength, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. I don't think that report is a complete condemnation of what INEC did. However, what I think is that INEC should take some of those valuable suggestions that have been made. But we must also not forget that there are unforeseen consequences. What happened between January and March, nobody expected that. The Naira swap that disrupted a lot of network. Service providers were affected. A lot of things went down that we did not plan for. So in a way, that we should have expected, that the INEC to be affected by what happened. But we should also not forget that there are 8,809 wards and 176,947 polling units. The EU had 100 observers, and his team was made up of 11 people. So there was no way the EU
would have traversed the 179,000 polling units.
Report is also infallible. It's not a perfect report. But I think we can take what is good out of it. But I don't think it's a complete rundown of the progress that INEC has made in the past few months.
Yes, I think I agree entirely with what Wale has said. For instance, that report is a mixed bag. There are areas of strength and there are areas of weaknesses. Let's talk about the issue of women representation. That is not the fault of INEC. It is the fault of the parties.
Political parties.
Political parties that didn't give their women enough representation and all that. So the issue of the beavers, which is where every report, of course, we are all journalists, we know those are the kind of things that will attract attention. INEC we all witnessed what happened. INEC was emphasizing on that point before the election. The chairman went to Chatham House like the politicians, and they all promised heaven and earth that this thing is going to work, we are going to do that. And but as we say on the street, man promises, God disposes. So INEC promised that it was going to work.
They couldn't deliver.
They couldn't deliver. The question now is,
Did that in any way affect
exactly
the exercise?
Yes, it might have. You know, what is happening now is like you sit for an examination. If I get 40%, Wale gets 80%. When you ask me, what did you get? You say, don't mind that lecturer, gave me 40%. When Wale is going to say, I scored 80%. Is that not? So, those who are looking at that report,
They're looking at the cup
they are
half
looking
empty.
exactly. They are looking at that side where EU talked about the inability to report real time and all that. But those who won, well, they are okay. It is okay with them. But it is also a way for INEC to learn from this. Because you see, when we are blaming INEC is not the service provider for beavers to work. INEC depends on some telecommunication company to make their system to work. So, if INEC has failed, it is the failure of Nigeria. It is the failure of the system. So, what we must talk about now is that when another election is coming, we must move forward from where we are. As the report said, there are some areas that are very good. The INEC has tried, but people are not looking at those areas. It is only that area where they failed that everybody is concentrating on. Well, it is also fair. That is a normal human being system, but INEC also needs to work on his own system.
Okay. They went further because this is now a subject of discussion at the tribunal now. Further to say that, okay, some people feel that their inability to transmit that result led to, let's say, that the exercise might not be transparent or did not end up being transparent at the end of the day. And INEC is coming back to say, yes, that look, our inability to transmit this result real time online did not in any way alter the process.
Yeah, I think the transmission of the result is just one route to creating our knowledge about the results. In at least 170,000 polling units, there were party agents that had access to raw data. The transmission is an elevation of tradition.
Yeah.
That's the form of ECHA.
Yes.
What has happened to...
So the party
ECHA
agents,
is the primary evidence for the polling units.
Party agents also had access to collecting data, their raw data from those polling units. So you cannot say because, after all, we are not transmitting results in the past, since 1999, and results were being declared. But this one was a conscious and I think honest intention to improve on our lapses over the years. And we cannot just have a one-jump perfection. You know, this is the first time we're having that kind of mass transmission, given the IT weaknesses, the structure of weaknesses of our IT in Nigeria. So we should expect, in the all honest intention, some shortcomings, some fault lines, you know. So I think apart from the transmission, party agents also had access. So on that basis, one cannot sift out that argument and also on that basis, you are condemning, the entire result. I think we should be honest to look at the strength, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats, and also know that we may be moving slowly, but I don't think we are moving backward. So what we need to do is to improve in future elections based on this lesson that we have learned.
And then the party agents, the results that they have from their polling units, can't this be admissible in the at
That's the primary evidence.
So I don't think we should not throw away the baby with the bathwater. INEC might not have done very well, but tell me which Nigerian agency has done very well in the last how many years?
Comparatively, I think we have made little progress.
We've made little progress, and we should not, because of that, say that what INEC has done is entirely bad. Well, they can improve on it. That's the greatest room in life is the room for improvement.
But you spoke about media protection,
yes,
which I think is a major issue. And it also spoke about, he said, endemic systemic problem, weaknesses, endemic systemic. It means that it's not just looking about this election alone, but historical factors that have been part of
long time.
So it's a challenge, not just for the government, but all the stakeholders, including the media, and it also spoke about electoral laws. You know, when people commit offenses, electoral offenses, we must ensure that they are prosecuted. So it means we're also talking about security, you know, because it's not INEC that's going to prosecute them, it's the police.
It's the police.
So it's a whole lot of, it's a whole gamut of suggestions. I think that we can sift the document, pick the best out of it. Those that are relevant to us, you know, we should pick them and then improve on. We also have other AU reports, ECOWAS reports. So this is not just the only report. And of course, we have reports from local observers who actually took part in the election all over the country. So we need to take everything together and then make the best out of what we have to improve on future elections.
Like that, what we'll be looking at our next off-season election, maybe they've set a minimum standard. Will they continue this way, or we're just going to go back to the way we used to do it?
You know, the thing is that for off-season elections,
November 11 now, I think we have 3 states.
Yes, those ones,
Bayelsa, and Imo.
Those ones will be easy go because it is just off-season, and all their deployment will be phased towards there. So I don't expect that there will be any problem. In fact, I think it is in that place that INEC should use that to redeem its image. That look, what happened the last time could have been because we are overwhelmed and it was a glitch. But this time around, since this election is off-season, we will do our best. So that's what I expect that will happen. And I know that they've learned their lessons, and just like everyone, we must strive to be the best at every time.
Will the youths and majority of the voters trust this commission again?
Well, I think we have grounds to distrust, but we also have higher grounds to trust. Because we are not, nobody's accusing INEC of corruption. So there are so many areas that have performed very well, if we need to be very honest with ourselves. But having a good election, democratic election, is not just about INEC alone. The political parties also have very critical roles to play, especially during the primaries. How can you ask me to come and pay 100 million naira, 50 million naira because I want to contest election? So you are excluding, you know, a large layers of academics, professors who don't have money, medical doctors who don't have money, roadside mechanics who are brilliant, honest people. They want to be councillors, they want to be governors, but they cannot be because they don't have the money. So the parties also need a lot of, you know, contributions to make in terms of, you know, ensuring there is internal democracy before we can talk about having a credible election in this country.
Wale Adeoye, I want to thank you for your contribution, and Dr. Olayinka Oyebule, thank you for your contribution.